Hey guys, it's Kimberly. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. And hope you're looking forward to this week's video. Last week, or last time we met, we talked a little bit about my personal hero, Rosalind Franklin, and the work that she did with X-ray crystallography, discovering the shape of DNA and the double helix, and her contributions to the world of genetics. So this week we're going to take it a little bit further back, and we're going to talk a little bit about Gregor Mendel. Most of you have probably heard that name. If you've taken any kind of biology course, you've heard of Gregor Mendel and his work with the pea plants, and his field called Mendelian genetics. This week we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at kind of what he did to kind of help lay the foundation for inheritance and how genes are transferred from the parental generation to their offspring. I've got a neat little PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to show you guys, so hopefully this works. It seemed to work pretty well last time, so we're going to try it again. Alright, and I'm going to go and switch over that to now. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Gregor Mendel and his peas. So a couple of things. This is Gregor Mendel. He was an Austrian monk, lived in 1822 to 1844, so he's a little over 60 years old when he passed. Mendel is known currently as the father of modern genetics, and he got that title when he worked with pea plants at an Austrian monastery. So a little bit about his work. He worked basically with your common garden pea, a Pisum sativum. This is a picture of the pea plants that he worked with. The reason he worked with the peas is they were considered a model organism. This means that it was a practical plant to work with, and conclusions that are drawn from the information gathered from the study of the plant can be applied to other species. Plus, it was super easy to control mating of the male and female pea plants. So why peas? Again, easy to manipulate. They were able to manipulate the plants so that they could breed them and cross-pollinate them based on the traits. So he had plants with purple flowers, plants with white flowers, and he could cross-breed them in order to determine what kind of flowers would be created. Easily chosen characteristics. Again, we're looking at flower color. Purple and white were the two colors that he used. Also seed shape. There were wrinkly seeds and they were smooth round seeds. So super easy to focus on just those couple of traits. Plus, pea plants grow relatively quickly. Rapid maturation is a very important thing when you're trying to get work done and determine how your cross-pollination, what the results are. So how did he do it? He used pure breeding lines. Pure breeding lines were used based on flower color as well as seed shape. Basically, your pure breeding lines are lines that are known to only produce one type of flower color or one type of seed shape, and they do this for several generations, and they don't produce any aberrant plants. Cross-pollination between the pure lines, basically what that means is that he created hybrids. He would take a pure breeding purple plant and a pure breeding white plant and cross-pollinate them and create these purple-white hybrids. And then he used the hybrids in order to create in order to cross-pollinate between the hybrids to see what would happen when that occurred. This allowed for the discovery of dominant and recessive genes, because when you would crossbreed, say, your purple flowers and your white flower plants, you would get nothing but purple flowers. However, when you crossbred the hybrids, the purple-white hybrids, your white flowers would show up again. Same with the seed shape. Now, many times he used just single trait crosses. So he would use strictly plants that were purple flowers with plants with white flowers. Those were considered your parental generation. The plants that were created between when you cross-pollinated the purple flowers with the white flowers, those were your F1 generation. And then beyond that, you've got your F2 generation and so on and so forth. So your F1 generation, those are your hybrids. Your F2 generation, those are your crossbreeds of your hybrids. He would also do monohybrid crosses. So he would have the plants that were crossbred for the flower color would be crossbred with other hybrids that were from flower color crosses. He also used wrinkle seeds versus round seeds. What happened to the wrinkled seeds when you did the first cross between the two pure breeding lines? Well, you would no longer get wrinkled seeds. However, what happened was when you cross-pollinated your hybrids with other hybrids or with each other, your wrinkled seeds would come back. That's where the dominant and recessive traits started coming out, because the wrinkled seeds were recessive to the round seeds. He also did what's called reciprocal crosses, which is where he would take the female reproductive system from one plant and crossbreed it with the male from another plant. So say he was using the purple female, he would use the white male. And then to make sure that it wasn't something that was based on the sexes of the plants, he would use a purple male and a white female and get the same results. So some vocabulary for you. A gene is a hereditary factor that influences a trait. Your alleles are the particular forms of the gene. So in this case, we're looking at the purple allele versus the white allele when it comes to flower color. And then the gene, if you've got two purple alleles, then you would end up with a purple flower because purple is dominant. If you had a purple allele and a white allele, you would end up with still a purple flower, again, because the purple was dominant. If you had two white alleles, then you would end up with a white flower. So the genotype is the listing of the alleles in an individual. So you would be looking at, say if we use a capital P for purple and a lowercase p for white, capital P versus lowercase p, that's the genotype. Now the phenotype is the observable traits. In this case, purple flowers versus white flowers, or round seeds versus wrinkled seeds. Homozygous, having the two of the same allele, so you're looking at having two purple alleles versus two white alleles for flower color, or two round alleles versus two wrinkled alleles for seed shape. Heterozygous, having two different alleles, having a purple and a white allele for flower color, having a round allele and a wrinkled allele for seed shape. Dominant allele, that's the allele that produces the phenotype in both homozygous and heterozygous individuals. Again, like I was saying earlier, if you've got a purple allele and a white allele, you're going to have a purple flower because purple is dominant. A recessive allele is the allele that produces the phenotype only in homozygous individuals. So you would have to, in order to have white flowers, you'd have to have two white alleles. In order to have wrinkled seeds, you'd have to have two wrinkled alleles. That's really it today. These are my sources. I will make sure to post them below as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment. You can also check out my Facebook page, and I'll post a link to that as well. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up here or on Facebook or on Twitter as well. All right, bye. Mwah.